American chain Chipotle Mexican Grill has 66 locations in Canada, and it plans big growth in this country and the US and globally. Let's get more on those intentions. We're joined by Scott Boatwright, CEO of Chipotle Mexican Grill. Scott, thanks very much for giving us the time today. Can you just remind us, you're growing so fast, it's hard to keep track, but how many restaurants have you globally? How many are in the USA and how many are in Canada? Just to update us, if you would.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew, and thanks for having us on today. We're expanding pretty rapidly across North America. We'll open between 315 and 345 new restaurants in North America this year, with additional growth outside of North America, which I can get to in just a moment. We couldn't be happier with our results in Canada. Canadians have been very kind to our company. We like to think that what we're doing is meaningful work, Andrew, and bringing this idea of food with integrity around the world and proving that fast food doesn't have to be unhealthy. And so that's something we take very serious. We're really proud to bring that food ethos at our price point to Canada, across Canada. Today we're in Calgary, Alberta, Calgary. We're in Toronto, of course, and then Vancouver, with plans to expand very aggressively in the coming months. So to answer your question more specifically, Andrew, we have about just under 4,000 restaurants globally.
4,000, right. And roughly what percent would be in the USA, Scott, roughly?
The lion's share. So you could say 96, 97% of the total system. We have a company-owned presence in Western Europe today. Today we're in Paris, London, as well as Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, yeah.
And we're expanding aggressively in the Middle East with our partner Al Shaya Group. Just recently opened up a couple new markets in Qatar, as well as Doha.
And you're going into Asia, I believe?
We are. We just signed a joint venture with SPC, located in South Korea. And we have expansion plans today for South Korea, as well as Singapore, which will obviously give us access to other Asian countries. We believe that our food ethos really works around the world because at the core of our menu, Andrew, is really rice, beans, and chicken. And so that really works in every geography.
That's some global food right there. Yeah, that's interesting. It is interesting for a company like yours. Even 20 years ago, you would think in Asia people might look askance, but globally, we're just so much more cosmopolitan now in food.
We really are. And if you take a look at what's happened in South Korea over the last many years, they're really leading pop culture in Asia proper today. And they couldn't be more excited in South Korea. I was really surprised by our opening in Qatar. I wish I could share how we were met with such extraordinary fanfare in Qatar just this past week, with record sales openings there as well. I think the Chipotle brand just means a lot of things to a lot of different people around the world. But at the heart of the brand is really this idea of using the best ingredients you can possibly source, the best animal husbandry practices in the industry, and then preparing those meals in restaurants with classic culinary techniques, Andrew. So think pots, pans, knives, cutting boards, and stovetops. And we do it at a price point that is very competitive, a speed which is unprecedented, and an abundance that you can't get anywhere else.
Now, I'm originally from Ireland. Ireland not known for its hot food, but I'm curious, when you go into new geographies, do you vary the level of heat? I'm thinking, for example, if you go into Thailand, you're going to need to crank it up.
Great call. So we have adjusted the menu in some countries upon entry, Andrew, and we found that to be a failed attempt. Consumers want Chipotle as it exists here in the U.S., as they've experienced it in the past. And where we've gotten off track is when we try to meet the needs of the local palate and thinking that people didn't like spice levels or wanted more spice in the food. So today, we operate our Chipotles around the world precisely as we prepare those meals in the U.S. today. Obviously, save one in the Middle East. We don't serve pork today, but the menu is exactly what you would get in a Chipotle burrito or bowl here in the U.S.
I did ask a Mexican colleague, I said, hey, Yvonne, they're going into Mexico. Will there be a backlash? And she told me, no, I think people will be curious to see what it's like.
I think they'll be very curious. I was just recently in Monterrey, Mexico with our partner, Al Shaya, just last week, as a matter of fact. And I'll tell you, everyone I talked to in the market couldn't be more excited to have a Chipotle Mexican Grill coming their way. Fresh food, prepared in restaurant is really on trend in Mexico and other parts of the world. I think people are thinking differently about their diets and the food they put in their bodies. And one of the things that we can do is we can meet every dietary demand that an individual would have and prepare, again, fresh food that you really can't get anywhere else.
Now, comparisons are invidious, and you're a different concept from McDonald's, but I'm just looking at a 5-year comparative chart. You, for a long time, were high-flying, even into last year. Your shares have come down. You're pretty well level pegging with McDonald's now. Why have investors fallen out of love with you over the past year or so?
Yeah, it's a great question, Andrew. The industry has really been in trouble for about 2 years with traffic declines across the industry in general. And I think consumers this year are being more discerning, A, and B, looking for value as a price point, or eating at home more often because food inflation at home has been far less than food inflation out of home. And I think we saw a consumer pull back in Q2, which we talked about on the most recent earnings call. And so I think consumers are, again, eating more food at home or looking for dollar price pointed value. And I think the group that's probably under most pressure is the 25 to 34-year-old group, which we over-index to. And so here at Chipotle, we're thinking about value, and I've always talked about this, is my mind or my idea of value for the consumer is benefit over price. So if I can hold price constant and continue to lean into the value of the offering or the benefit of the offering, it continues to showcase the value that is Chipotle. And I still believe that we're an extraordinary value, navigating a challenging economic backdrop and challenging industry in general. But we are still front-footed. We're still one of the best brands in the industry. I still believe in what we do as an organization, and we will come out of this stronger than ever.
One thing I'm curious about: have you got a gluten-free offering on the wraps? Have you gone there with the tortillas?
Not just yet. We're working through that. Our wraps are very unique, Andrew. We only use 4 ingredients in our wraps, and you can probably name them: water, yeast, salt, and flour. And so trying to figure out a solution for a preservative-free, gluten-free tortilla is a bigger challenge than you could expect. But you could see it on the menu at some point in the future. You never say never.
What is the trouble with just a corn tortilla? Is it because it's more fragile? I'm just curious. A pure corn tortilla.
We used to have corn tortillas, believe it or not, and they just didn't sell as much as you thought they would. And we ended up throwing away more tortillas than we were actually serving. So we took them off the menu about 3 or 4 years ago. So, you never know. They could come back if the trend emerges yet again. But you can still get a corn tortilla or corn taco, as well as our corn chips in restaurant today, which are clearly, obviously, gluten-free.
Yes. Can I just one question? I'm curious about demographics. What is the lower limit population-wise for a city or a town? Have you found that a place gets too small at a certain population level?
We haven't. In our most dense markets, we're probably, if you think about restaurant per population, down around 25,000, 29,000, somewhere in that ballpark. But I'll tell you, we entered a lot of kind of rural and suburban markets over the last couple of years in what we called our small town strategy. And we're met with the same fanfare that I described to you in Qatar just moments ago. And people come out and support our brand. They're looking for a different way of eating. They're looking for healthier options. They're looking for options that could fit their dietary needs. And Chipotle squarely meets those needs head on. And then we continue to lean into limited time offers. One of the most recent ones we launched was our carne asada, which is our incredible product. We've launched it a couple of times in the past. It continues to perform really well and meet consumer needs. And then introducing new ideas like red chimichurri, which launched just a couple of days ago. It's garlic, cilantro, citrus juice prepared in restaurant every day. We think it's an incredible option for either the carne asada or chicken. I've seen other people just dipping tortillas in it. It is a really great product, and we're excited to get it out in the marketplace. So that said, Andrew, we will leverage limited time offers to really create new use cases for Chipotle consumers to come into the brand. We're not an LTO-driven brand per se, but we want to tell our customers that, hey, we care about you, we're thinking about you, and we want to give you new reasons and compelling reasons to come in more often.
My wife likes green chimichurri, so I'm sure she'll be trying the red chimichurri. Thanks very much, Scott.
Absolutely, Andrew. Thanks for having us on today.
Scott Boatwright, CEO of Chipotle Mexican Grill.